to him, Your Excellency, until I think he got annoyed. And then he told me, listen, if you don't call me Antonio and you continue calling me Your Excellency, I am going to call you Your Majesty. So I stopped calling him Excellency. That's the extent of the protocol. Let me Mr. Secretary General of the United Nations, António Guterres, the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, my dear sister Amina Mohammed, Chief Executives of United Nations agencies, funds, programs, and related organizations, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Nairobi. I will volunteer 2 pieces of information for those of you who are in Nairobi for the first time. Number one is that your coming to Kenya, aside from being your home, because we have a UN agency here, and I dare say the largest UN agency anywhere in the globe. Kenya also hosts somewhere 300 kilometers from Nairobi. That's where scientists, and I am one of them, discovered the earliest remains of man. It means that all of us, wherever you come from, whether you come from Europe or America, or like Antonio here, one day sometime we all began from here. So it is correct for me to tell you, welcome home. Secondly, let me also volunteer some small information. 10 minutes drive from your hotel room is our national park. And we have all the wild animals there. We have the lions, the cheetahs, and elephants, and many wild animals. Occasionally, they break off from the fence. So if by any chance you find a lion in the streets as you go shopping, please be careful, because it is not tamed, it is wild. And with that information, I'm sure you are armed enough to find your way in the city of Nairobi. But Mr. Secretary General, I'm honored to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. And from the great organization that we all belong, the United Nations, we hope you will enjoy the Kenyan hospitality. And on behalf of the government and people of Kenya, we are delighted by your presence here today. I would like to express our gratitude to the United Nations for selecting Nairobi as the venue for the UN Executive Board Coordination Meeting. This demonstrates our excellent relations, and as a global center for multilateralism, we are proud of this kind of gesture and look forward to hosting future coordination meetings. I'm confident that the discussions of the Chief Executive's Coordination Board meeting will strengthen the role of the United Nations in delivering the global mandate that you hold. Congratulations to you, Mr. Secretary General, for successfully guiding the Central Board in essential operations. We pledge Kenya's complete commitment and support to what you do for the sake of humanity. We recognize the critical role of the United Nations in promoting global cooperation, supporting sustainable development, and addressing global challenges through its global coordination, advocacy, and awareness raising, financial and technical assistance, and monitoring and reporting processes. Kenya is a crucial partner of the UN in multiple sectors, including implementing Agenda 2030, supporting the United Nations operations in the Horn of Africa and the Great Lakes region, and addressing complex global challenges such as climate change, environmental degradation, biodiversity loss, food insecurity, economic inequality, and of course, political instability. Our coordinated and strategic partnership has benefited from the development reforms, enhanced coordination of UN country teams, integrated pragmatic support, and mobilization of funding aligned with our national priorities through the UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2022-2026. In our region, the Horn of Africa and the Great Lakes, we continue to face many crises and natural calamities. Kenya, in collaboration with other member states, regional organizations, and the UN, provides political leadership towards resolving some of these very complex challenges. Specifically, Kenya has taken a leading role in championing peace in Eastern DRC through the EAC-led Nairobi process. We are keen to work with all international partners to restore peace and security in the Sudan. Somalia provides an opportunity to act in concert to consolidate gains made since the deployment of AMISOM in 2007. Kenya is proud of the United Nations offices in Nairobi and has invested heavily in the UN complex and Gigiri area's infrastructure. I call upon the leadership of the UN to strengthen the United Nations office in Nairobi to effectively extend its services to the Global South. We already demonstrate this goodwill in the ongoing renovation of the Union Blocks A to J, and we hope that upon completion, the state-of-the-art complex will be an iconic model at the status of other UN headquarters in the Global North, improving the delivery of its programs. I invite all of you to take advantage of the various hubs in Kenya to enhance efficiency and effectiveness in achieving your mandate. Mr. Secretary General, I have told you earlier that whenever you speak our language, and you are our voice on the two most important items that the Global South faces. Number one is the subject of climate change. We believe that it is time for us as humanity to appreciate the existential threat that climate change poses, not to any particular country, any particular region, but to humanity in its entirety. And the urgent need to reconfigure what can be done, what everybody can do to deal with this challenge. We have taken the position as people from the Global South that it is not enough for us to say we didn't contribute much. It is not enough for us to say we are victims. We must proactively begin to offer what we consider our contribution in solving this problem, however it was created, by whomever it was created. I think it is now our collective responsibility to find the solution. And Mr. Secretary General, I want to tell the UN family here, because we believe in you, that Africa, indeed the Global South, we have ideas, we have suggestions, we believe we can be part, and we should be, part of the solution. It is now a foregone conclusion that we have to change the trajectory from development fueled by fossil fuels to green energy growth. It's a foregone conclusion. I think we are beyond the Rubicon. And therefore, it is important that we find where do we find the next energy to power world development. And we are making an offer that we have the largest resources of renewable energy. Kenya's grid is 92% renewable. That's just an example. We have huge resources in hydro, solar, wind, geothermal, and we are prepared and ready to make these resources available to solve this existential threat of climate change. All we are asking is that while we offer these resources, others should come with finances and technology so that we meet halfway and we get a win-win outcome. I think that is the proposition that we will be consolidating as leaders from the Global South and in our continent of Africa as we come to the UN General Assembly and as we go to the COP28. One final thing, Mr. Secretary General, and I know speaking to you on this matter is preaching to the choir, is the issue of reform of the international financial architecture. I think it is important for us to have an international financial architecture that is fair. We are not asking for one that favors us. We are asking for one that is fair, that treats everybody equally. And we need to have a conversation how this can be brought to being. We have suggestions, we have ideas, and we will be meeting halfway so that we can have this conversation and be able to unlock the potential that exists if we were to have access to finances. Finally, let me say on the subject of climate change one more time, and I speak a lot about climate change because in my PhD program, as a scientist, I was heavily invested in matters environment. That we need, it is not enough for us to continue to have a conversation, sorry, to have a conversation about adaptation. It's a good conversation. Loss and damage is a good conversation. But I think the most important conversation we need to have is about climate investment, climate financing. That's the real conversation we need to have. And hopefully we should create a framework for us to have that conversation. We certainly need to have a carbon market. We need first to understand the carbon trading. We need to assess those who emit, what are they doing, and what does it cost those who don't. Mr. Secretary General, I know the United Nations is a is a global power. I do not want to push my limits beyond there. Let me stop. I request, ladies and gentlemen, that we all rise and join in a toast to the warm and cordial collaboration between Kenya, the United Nations and its agencies, and to the continued good health and well-being of my good brother, His Excellency António Guterres, the continued prosperity of the United Nations family, and the continued partnership with the Republic of Kenya.